and welcome back to Pure Country Reacts. This is part 2 of Me, Myself, and Jungkook. This is, as we said in our previous video, if you hadn't seen it, go back and check it out. This is Jungkook's concept, and what Lexi's doing is she's looking at the symbolisms and just weighing in on what she thinks they could possibly mean. It's not scripture. It ain't because he said all this. We do know that he was going in the direction of vampire, which is a great concept because we love vampires. But these are just things that she gets from what she sees, what it could mean. And we don't know. It's just all up for interpretation. You may see something different, but she's one that typically likes to look at symbolisms in dreams, in videos, in music, so art. So this is something that she just looks at anyway. So when they came out with these concepts, she's like, oh, let's look at this, you know. So as I said, these are just her, how she is taking what he has in these videos. He did not use as much symbolism as Jimin did.
That's more Jimin's thing, though. So.
But yeah, Jimin does do a lot of symbolism, and a symbolism's a good way to say something
without
actually saying it. And sometimes people just see it as, oh, that was really neat, or that was really pretty.
And a lot of times they do symbolisms in order to find people who understand them.
Right.
I mean, so you'd want somebody who understands you without you actually having to voice that you're hurt, right, or you're troubled.
Just like dreams. Dreams, 99.9% of the time are not literal. They are all riddles. They are all things to be researched and looked into, and they all go correlating back to your life or your path.
Your subconscious.
Your subconscious, what's going on in your life. Maybe it's even a guide for what you should do,
something
or what
that you need, something you need to deal with.
Exactly. So,
or some things in the future that's coming up, especially if something bad's going to happen soon. At least be prepared for it. There'll be signs of that as well.
Right. But that's just basically, these are what she sees, and we said before, there's not a butt ton of symbolism in here, but what is in here, she's just going to say what her thoughts are about it. So we hope you enjoy, and let's get into Me, Myself, and Jungkook part 2.
Alright, so this is the production film, so kind of like the mood sampler that Jimin had. So it's gonna go through a little bit of him trying to decipher what all he wants for his theme.
Right, and didn't Jimin also go through and choose some of the pictures as well?
Yeah, because he's gonna choose some in this one, I'm sure. Yeah, see, yeah, he's gonna choose some things. I love how they all dress up really cozy.
Oh yeah, and if it is any time around that other time, maybe it was cold.
I mean, it looks like he's got the same hair there, so it may have been, like, winter time.
Yeah.
Look, he's got the heating pad still.
Yeah.
It must be cold.
It sure must be.
But one thing I do know was the vampire theme, and I think, honestly, the vampire theme mostly is what I think about is his inner insecurities, his inner thoughts, and his emotions that have to be hidden by a persona like a vampire would, because their identity has to be hidden. Like, if you think about it, Edward and his family had changed their identities so much.
Exactly, because people would start to wonder why they were there and they weren't aging, you know, and it brings up questions. So that definitely, being a vampire, maybe his character as the vampire is the one that's truly him, and coming out
as a human is the act.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
That's just what I think, honestly. I mean, if you think about it, the vampires had to act like human beings, so they had to act like very different.
Yeah, they had to blend.
You think about it, Alice was very odd. She had to act more normal around people.
Right. So he's looking at the shots, obviously.
Those look so good.
They do look really, really good. And, you know, not everybody has an eye, so you always have to make sure you have a really good photographer.
And, you know, the perfectionists are like, how about you get over a little this way? Then you know there's going to be like 20 shots.
Yep, try this. Probably 100 shots. Ain't no telling.
I love the fire. That was so elegant. I liked it. Yeah, he's choosing which photos he wants to do.
Oh, that's interesting. He is coming through the fog, maybe? Which you said in your last video, the fog represented...
It's like a coverage almost for your inner feelings. It's like, I mean, you think about it, you can't see through fog, so it's like when you stand behind the fog or in the fog, then you're not easily seen. So it's something you don't want people to see, whether it be because of insecurities or judgment, or it's just things you have to hide in order to survive as a vampire.
Prying eyes.
Okay. So that was him choosing his photos. And like I said, I don't know how far in he's thought of this, but these are just my thoughts. You ain't gotta agree with me.
No, and you may see something completely different. Obviously, he did not use like a really ton of symbolisms and things, but we had said, or Lexi had said in the last video, that obviously this was something that either he wanted to do or it spoke to him, and he felt this is the best way for himself to convey whatever. Maybe that was just a concept that spoke to him the most, if you know what I mean. He may have just went with it because he's a fan, or the mystery behind an actual vampire. You know, maybe that's what he sort of kind of feels like in life. Who knows? Maybe, obviously not in a violent form, but the mysterious this is me, and this is who I have to be for everybody else.
Yeah, and the insecurity of your identity is also a symbolism of being a vampire. So
exactly, you know, the judgment, the prying eyes. You know, I could totally understand it. So if any of them or all of them or some of them are going for this is really me, and this is what you don't see, then I think this was sort of a good direction. He wanted to do it this way.
And I mean, if you think about it, it may not look like much, but everything in life, just like Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid, you know, everything is karate. No.
Yes.
Everything in life has symbolism. Yes. And I mean everything. A lot.
And most people go through life and they just stroll through and they don't look, or they do look, but they don't try to understand. And that's probably a lot of the problem with society and humanity. People don't look beyond what they see, and what they should do is they should try to understand and realize who that person is. And especially with the members of BTS, a lot of sacrifice has been made in their journey to stardom. They've got there. What have they lost? How has this changed them? And maybe this is some of the stuff that they're conveying that without actually saying it.
And like I said, with the Jimin videos, I think this is the only way they can describe the pain and the sacrifice they've gone through. I mean, because you think about it, everyone, if now, anybody who's watching this, please go to these actual videos and where they're posted and look at the comments. Yeah. And that will tell what ARMY sees in these men. It's just visuals. They don't try to figure out what they're saying. They don't try to figure out the message. They don't try to figure out what emotion they've put into this. I mean, because apparently they have a reason that this is their theme, but nobody wants to see beyond what they look like and how sexy they look. Yeah. And the thing is they're trying to tell you something. They're trying to tell you they're insecure. They're trying to tell you they know you would judge them. And the thing is you try to say, well, the people shouldn't be judging BTS. Well, you are judging BTS.
You are judging them. That's right.
And that's the thing is they go based on those poor judgments, and they have to behave like quote unquote toxic masculinity. So I mean,
well, they have to behave as something that they're not. That is probably actually foreign to them.
Oh yeah, okay? I mean, because when you think about it, they have to behave very differently when they perform in America compared to Korea.
And just performing in general. I mean, you still have the weight of judgment. You still have the weight of the eyes. The weight of the world, just in general, is on these 7 guys, okay? The weight of the world. And we're not just talking about with their performances and stuff. I mean, that's a big thing, but they're a big money maker for the country, South Korea. They have an immense amount of pressure that is on them. And I think maybe what people do need to do, instead of looking at the visuals and talking about how awesome they look, maybe what you should do is look at the humanity of each of these individuals. What have they sacrificed? What are they going to continue to sacrifice? Look and see if you can find a message in what they're trying to convey, because that's very important. I feel like I have enough on my plate as it is, but I can't imagine the immenseness that is on each individual member I can't understand. I can't fathom the amount that is on their plates and then what they would have to deal with. So, try to look beyond what you see.
Especially when we do our Run BTS episodes. Now, I'm sure you're not a fan if you were to watch some of them.
We do rail a little bit.
If you're certain biases to certain ones. The thing is my message still stands. Well, apparently they're not perfect. Somebody's said it, but I guess in a visuals type of way. Well, they're not perfect at all. So, instead of thinking they're pure angels, now some of them are, but they, of course, anybody who's human being can be mean.
Right.
So you have to think about all aspects of this person.
Exactly. Go beyond the visuals. Try to think of these people as human beings. Okay. Look, are they using symbolism? What are they trying to say? You know?
Yeah, don't think of them as beautiful, famous people. Think of them as a person who's trying to send a message.
Exactly. They're like the rest of us. They eat, sleep, you know, they exercise, they have families, they have, you know, probably dreams beyond BTS, you know. These people get sick, they get depressed, they have their happy moments, they have their low moments, and we have to look at them and all people in this, except for people in Hollywood, okay? We won't even go there. But as far as BTS goes, try to think and consider that these are actually human beings. They do have feelings. They do
have struggles.
Right, they do have struggles. They will and intend to have life beyond BTS. So we can only hope that their future roads are always going to be paved with success and happiness. So this is part 2 of Me, Myself, and Jungkook. We have one more part we're going to get to, but until then, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and share our videos with friends and family. And until our next one, peace.